So welcome everyone. My name is Noelle Schroeder, and we are here tonight on Zoom as part of a movement, a national movement called the Healthy Living Revolution. And everyone on this call is looking forward to this interview with Heather Taylor. She is a licensed dietitian and the holistic kind. So I'm excited to talk to her tonight about the gut-brain connection and how that affects the immune system. The first thing I want to, if you could just make sure that you mute yourself when you come on, that would be great. First thing I want to do is just share Heather's background. And Heather, you have a lot of big words in this, so here I go. Heather Taylor is a holistic licensed dietitian of over 21 years. She developed Eat Well and Beyond LLC over 11 years ago. She specializes in digestive health and recovery, weight management, disease prevention, lifestyle, and individualized food planning for your own specific needs. She provides functional medicine lab testing for food intolerance, GI dysfunction, nutrient deficiencies, cardio, metabolic function, hormone metabolite balance, and more.
Oh, good.
Did I get that right? Okay, good. Her main goal is to teach people how to use food and nutrients as medicine to heal and restore balance. So welcome, Heather. We're so excited to learn from you tonight.
Yay, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So tell us, first of all, just what is the gut-brain connection? What does that mean?
Oh, it's such a broad term, right? So when we think about the gut, through all of the things that I do, I'm always working on how am I going to make sure your digestive system's working, number one, but that's very highly connected to how your brain is working, how your mood is working, and it's basically all connected. So I like to say, how is the brain gut connection, but also the gut brain connection, because they kind of play against each other. And I mean, I can get right into it. Really, basically comes down to this beautiful connection that we have between our immune system and our nervous system. The nervous system, as we all know, starts with our brain and it comes down the spinal column, and we have these wonderful nerves that come out to our extremities, and they're working all the time to make sure that we can move, we can breathe, our heart is beating, our digestive system is working and pushing things through the way it's supposed to. But we also have this nerve called the vagal nerve that runs through all of these organs, and then it comes out right at the gut, believe it or not. And interestingly enough, our gut will actually talk to this nerve, and then it talks all the way up that nerve back into the brain. So when we talk about the gut-brain connection, there's a lot of different things going on. We have to make sure that it's functioning correctly, so that your brain is getting what it needs, but we also want to make sure your brain is also functioning correctly so that your digestive system is working the way it should be. So it kind of goes into, well, let's talk about what the gut actually does, right? We are made of trillions and trillions of microbiome. People say, well, what's a microbiome? Well, you're mostly microbe, more so than you are human, believe it or not. Trillions and trillions of bugs and bacteria and parasites and all kinds of funky things. And we have candida that lives in certain places, right? Make sure my internet isn't going away. And we have to make sure there's a balance. So everybody has their own flora and their own balance. And we talk about different strains and people taking different probiotics, and then there's prebiotics, and there's all these different things that go into making sure that this microbiome is balanced. We actually term it as, we call it the flora. It sounds prettier when you say it like that. We're just like a beautiful flower of flora, okay? And when that's out of whack, what can happen is we can have inflammatory processes happening. When these microbes get out of balance, say we have a candida overgrowth or we have a bacterial overgrowth, we can create byproducts. And what actually happens is these byproducts can travel up the vagus nerve into the brain. So the brain can start actually experiencing inflammation as well. So that's why the digestive system is so important for brain health and memory function. I don't know if you've ever had, moments where you had a stomach problem and all of a sudden you got a headache. Sometimes that's that connection. That's that inflammation is starting to creep up that vagus nerve and actually affecting the brain. And it also goes the other way. We've heard of people who have, concussions, and all of a sudden they start having digestive issues because, interestingly enough, it talks to that vagus nerve right down into the gut, and it can disrupt the microbes that way. So it really comes down to how do we support our microbiome so that our digestive system is functioning really well. We're not having a lot of inflammation. And so we're also supporting our brain and our memory. And believe it or not, a lot of our hormones like serotonin and dopamine, all of our neurotransmitters really do depend on how healthy our digestive system is. If our digestive system is not functioning, we're not absorbing certain nutrients like B vitamins, we don't have precursors to make our neurotransmitters, that can also affect what's happening with our mood, anxiety, depression. All of those things can kind of get in the way. So we talk about, hey, what do? We got to eat right, right? We talk about Juice Plus all the time being so wonderful with all these nutrients that we get straight from those fruits and vegetables. We need to be eating normal, regular, whole fruits and vegetables every single day. And those nutrients, we want to make sure are getting absorbed so that we have these wonderful antioxidants quenching the inflammation that we have in our day, whether from stress or from exposures to any toxins. We want to keep the toxic load down. That's why we try to go for organic more than, other types of products. We try to reduce any kind of processed foods. And we love fiber. Fiber is a prebiotic. It actually feeds our good guys. We want those good bugs in our digestive system to be producing the right things, not producing toxins. So that's where food comes in. And we know that stress really does influence the microbiome too. So if you have stress, and we think about, people in America today, we're very fast paced. We have stress. We are influencing our microbiome in our gut. That vagus nerve is talking to us all the time. Think about the times that you had, nervousness. You were getting ready for an interview. You had the butterflies in your stomach. That was actually your brain traveling down the vagus nerve, talking to your stomach and giving you those funny feelings. Some people have to run to the bathroom. It gets really that bad. So that's pretty much the connection. So that's really where it comes down to making sure our lifestyle is de-stressing. We're breathing. That actually helps stimulate the vagus nerve. Some people have issues with digestion. It starts shutting off because the vagus nerve is actually shutting off. And so they might have constipation. We have a lot of backed up people. So we want to make sure that that's moving, motility is functioning. So the nervous system and the digestive system really are like one. And when I see things happening digestively, I will always think, what else is happening in your life? Are you stressed out? What are you eating? It's all of it, right? We have to look at the whole picture with people. Did you have a traumatic brain injury? Did you have a concussion? Did that lead to issues with your digestion, your stomach? Do you have reflux now? There's a lot of things that start, triggering imbalances. So that's pretty much the like short answer. Not very short.
That's okay.
So let me know what else you'd like to go into, because I can talk about all kinds of different specifics too, but you let me know what you want to know in terms of.
That was amazing. And so it, of course, initiated a lot of other questions in my brain. So, and one of them is the immune system, because we hear a lot about 80% of the immune system is in your gut. Well, what does that mean? And how does that factor into what you just described?
Okay, so the immune system is basically how we keep things in check, right? We have our cells are constantly turning over all the time, right? We have damage, we have repair, we have damage, we have repair, right? Your hair falls out, you have, skin sloughing off, you get a cut, it gets red. That inflammatory process that happens is a lot of mast cells coming in. You have fluid coming in to help kind of get rid of any, viral debris or bacterial debris. Same thing happens along the digestive system. If you think about it, you're really just a tube with a human wrapped around it, right? You come from the beginning and you come out through the end. And that's basically what protects you from the outside world. So we need to make sure that your entire lining of your intestinal tract is healthy, because if it isn't, and you start getting a leaky gut, okay, you start having these junctions along your intestinal tract starting to open up, you're going to have this inflammation, just like having a cut, that redness is going to come in. You're going to have damage to cells. And all of a sudden, now you're not absorbing your nutrients anymore. What do we need nutrients for? We need nutrients to make our metabolism work, right? That's how we convert energy. If we don't have nutrients, we're not producing energy effectively, okay? That's why people get tired when they don't eat well. That energy just isn't getting produced well. So the immune system, if you want it to be really healthy, You don't want chronic inflammation all the time. You want the inflammation to be kind of chill. We need a little bit of inflammation. We can't just, let things go rampant. That's why we need a little bit of burn. We need to get, some of our toxins out. We have to clear things. We have to make sure we're killing off any bacteria. We need to have that immunity functioning really well, but we don't want it on fire all the time. So we want that digestive system working well so that we don't have it on fire. And how do we do that? We want to quench the fire. We use our antioxidants. We don't want oxidation happening. And that's basically what inflammation is. The immune system goes through this whole process and we have oxidation. If we have excessive oxidation, we have what's called free radicals. It's almost like, throwing a stone at something. It's kind of like the aftershoot after this whole process of the immune system being activated. And then it creates even more damage. And then it can ping off and cause more damage and more damage and more damage to cells. And the more damage we have to cells, the more damage we have to our DNA. And the more damage we have to DNA, the faster we age, right? The more risk we have for mutations, the more risk we have for diseases that aren't, your cells aren't talking to each other the right way anymore. More risk for cancer. We have damage to our cells and our arteries. We have heart disease. I mean, that's basically what it is. You're having chronic inflammation and your body is not able to catch up and quench that fire fast enough. So that's where the gut comes in.
So really, in other words, in our sort of Western medicine mindset, we have a tendency to compartmentalize all of these things. We look
Right.
at cardiovascular disease over here, and we look at immune system over here, and we look at inflammation over here, and we look at gut-brain connection over here, and emotional health over here, and mental health over here, when really they're all so intricately
Yep.
interconnected.
Yep. Absolutely.
So what do we do? What should we be eating? Because that's the biggest question, right? Everyone sort of wants the magic pill. Is there a magic pill?
No, there is not. So I kind of like when I teach people, I'm like, we have think of yourself as like you're a house and you have these pillars that support you. You have to have these foundations to make sure that your house is sturdy and safe, functioning, and going to last a long time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You need good sleep. You need to not be stressed out all the time. You need to have good food that is supporting you with nutrition, nutrients, especially not just calories, right? We need nutrients, phytonutrients, super powerful, wonderful plant-based things, but we have nutrients from all kinds of different foods that can help us, right? All of these things are necessary to make sure that things are working. We need movement, right? Keep the lymphatic system going. We need that vagus nerve functioning well. We need our brains to be active. We don't want things shutting down. So it is a holistic approach, and food is, one of those pillars that's so hugely important, because if you're feeding yourself really crappy food, you're creating that inflammation. Now you're going to be tired. Now you don't want to go move. You're going to take a nap instead. Now you're depressed because you're not getting your work done. It's this, it can get out of control, right? So it is really about the pillars of life, right?
Everything
So,
really starts with what you're eating.
Yeah, they always come up with these terms like, what is it? Neuropsychoimmune. They put all the different systems together. They make these really long words. It's like, yeah, let's just admit that it's all interconnected. They're not separate. So if you want to talk about neurology, you want to talk about what's going on with the immune system. What's going on with your gut? Are you having a nutrition deficiency? Is it something structural? Does it have to do with your movement? There's so many things that you have to look at when you're looking at someone's overall health, but those basics are so huge. Getting basic nutrition down can literally change people's lives. It just changes them. You know what I mean?
Right. And I know you come up with sort of tailored eating plans for people, but what are some kind of highlights? How do we get those antioxidants? How do we get those prebiotics?
Okay. So obviously for me, last 21 years, nobody's eating enough fruits and vegetables still. They're just not. Okay. Everyone's like, I'm going to do the carnivore diet. I'm going to do the keto diet. I'm going to do, just paleo, whatever it is. It's like, pick something and do it, but you still need plants, right? We still need to have some kind of roughage in there. And we know studies show that the more plants we eat, we have ridiculous amounts of studies, and I don't know why we keep trying to prove different ways of doing it. If we could just get people to eat more fruits and vegetables, we'd be way further along in terms of our healthcare, right? Mm-hmm. But people just aren't doing it. They're fast paced. They like convenience. So if I would say anything, they need to focus on what is a convenient way to get more fruits and vegetables into their life. I don't care if you have to get pre-cut up vegetable, platters that you bring to parties and stick it in your fridge. How do we do that? The fiber is so important because it helps with motility. It helps with decreasing cholesterol. It helps protect you in so many different ways. And those prebiotics really do feed the good guys. Unless you have some like chronic, digestive issue that's going on where you have to go off, do a clear liquid thing, start over, start fresh and building it back up. Most people just need to get more of that fiber. It will change your microbiome. I mean, we see studies where you take a vegetarian and you make them a meat eater, or you take a meat eater and you make them a vegetarian, and they have completely different strains of microbiome balance in just a short amount of time. So we know that the way that you eat influences that balance.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be what I would say is just more fruits and vegetables, people. If you're not getting at least the 5 a day, we're supposed to getting like the 7 and 9, if we can get more, that's great. Just based on the stress of our world, the toxins in our world, it's not the same as the way we used to be, just hanging out in the fields. You know what I mean? We're a lot more, what I would say, high stress, high cortisol, kind of entrepreneur type society. So we don't know how to bring it down. We bring it down to like here. We should be bringing it down to here. So we have a hard time with recovery. We have a hard time with, rest. So you need even more antioxidants. You need more B vitamins. You need all this extra stuff, right?
Right, because it seems like if you have any type of chronic condition, if you have added stress, if you exercise regularly, which creates more oxidative stress,
Yep.
you need even more fruits and vegetables than the 9 or the 10.
Yes.
And so so we talked about Juice Plus as a way to really bridge the gap. And why is Juice Plus, just from your perspective as a dietitian, why is that such a good way to supplement?
So the one thing I like about it, and it's, especially with kids. So I have teenagers, right? I have a 12 and 14-year-old that like to tell me that they ate their fruits and vegetables, but I know they didn't. So I like it because it's really hard to find a food substitute, I guess, if that's what you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
or a support that is whole food, high in nutrient because it's ripened, right? It's organic. You're not going to get a bunch of pesticides and junk in it, right? There's a lot of companies that are going to try and pretend that they can do that, but doesn't mean they necessarily have that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to have something that's going to support you. Plus all the studies that they're doing that you guys have listed on like the website and stuff like that. There's such great studies, and just seeing beta carotene levels, right, being so much higher and how that influences, your health. I mean, we have so many studies coming out about that. It's ridiculous. So if people that just want to choose to ignore that, I don't know why. Plus, I like that it has enzymes in those capsules. Enzymes are so important. We get them from most of our raw foods, and enzymes really help with digestion. They help with repairing our DNA. They talk to our DNA. So they're like magical things that what do we do? Most of us are eating processed, cooked, or overcooked foods, right? So people are missing those enzymes. People are going and finding digestive enzymes now because they don't have enough, right? Their pancreas isn't even making enough for them anymore. So now they're even more deficient. So enzymes, I always love talking about that because they're like this other special magic food that people don't realize exist. So
Right.
I'd always encourage people, go check out enzymes and what they do for the body.
Right. And it's exciting to know that the live enzymes are in the Juice Plus capsules, that they're vine ripened. All the produce is vine ripened, which is where most of the nutrition ends up showing up in the produce, right? And we miss out on that when we buy it from the store. And
Well,
then,
yeah, because you have, I mean, especially in the north, other areas might be a little bit better, but in the north, we have slim pickings for ripened fruits and vegetables through the winter. They're shipping them over here from California or other countries, and they're not picking them when they're ripe. They're gassing them on the way over just so they can give them their color. And you can tell, you can taste the difference, right? The difference between in season, fresh picked ripened fruit versus the one that's sitting in the store and it tastes like cardboard.
yeah.
So that's kind of a difference.
And also that Juice Plus is actually better than organic because there are no pesticides, no herbicides,
Right.
no fungicides whatsoever. And
Good point. Yes.
and it's been tested, independently by the National Safety Foundation to ensure that of that purity and quality, and that what's really on the label is really in the bottle.
Right.
So I love it for the purity, but I love hearing from someone like you who's an expert to kind of validate what what I feel about it, what I'm feeling in my own body after having taken it for 5 years. But it's exciting to hear it, from someone like you. And then the research, of course, there are 38 studies, and it's soon to be 40 published studies, but 4 of them are showing how it improves the immune system. And right now, with the state of the world where we are at the moment,
Yeah.
which there's a lot of fear and a lot of panic, people are looking for ways to improve their immune system and start to really make some changes towards a healthier lifestyle. And people sort of sometimes say, oh, well, I need to, they think it's sort of a project to get started with Juice Plus. And I say, no, it's so easy. You just place an order and you start swallowing some capsules. It's that simple. And then you start to want to eat more fruits and vegetables because they're in your bloodstream so immediately after you consume them.
And just to that point of, this time right now where people are having a little bit of a, panicky kind of feeling and anxiety.
Mhm.
We do that when we don't feel like we have control, right? Something's like mysterious. We don't have enough knowledge. So we go in a little bit of a panic mode. But the one thing that people can do is control what they put in their mouth. They can control, that stuff. They can control what they're doing with their food every single day. I was hoping that this would actually motivate people to put down the cheeseburger and the French fries and maybe make some different decisions.
Yeah.
Because how do we boost our immune system? They say there's nothing you can do. There's nothing for prevention. There's no medicine. I said, there is medicine. There's your immune system.
Yeah.
You got to make sure you support your immune system. This is how we keep inflammation and pro-inflammatory, side effects of illness from happening, is that you have the power inside of you already. And we know that from all of our NHA and ES studies that say, okay, we're an industrialized, population culture, and we're still extremely deficient in vitamin C. I mean, basic vitamin C is extremely low in all of us, and we have access to food. It really, there's no reason for it, really, and it's across the board. I mean, we have, some more impoverished places that are lower, but it is really literally in the unhealthy. It's in our obese and our diabetics and our, heart disease patients, because what are they? They're inflamed all the time. So what do they need? Extra antioxidants. So anybody that's having any kind of issue like that, I don't know, should be on Juice Plus. I'm just saying, across the board. So,
and there are also studies showing that it it protects your DNA, it changes your DNA so that it turns off those switches that might be allowing those mutations to express, and it shuts them down. So very exciting to see, sort of what our grandmothers knew, right, when they were telling us to eat our fruits and vegetables. But now we have clinical research to say, yeah, eat your fruits and vegetables. And because you probably can't get it all in every day in the wide variety, take your Juice Plus. And so really food is the medicine. Yes.
Absolutely. And, it's great that you brought up the epigenetics, because what we're doing right now and what we're passing down to our kids. So it really, I'm done having kids, but it's now my kids' job, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they want to keep those mutations from being passed down for 7 generations.
Yeah.
If they were taking responsibility and we are helping them take responsibility for their health right now, when they have their children, we can switch those switches off, right? So really, we can keep that kind of going. It's a little bit of a daunting task, but we know that what do we do as humans? We adapt, and that's why our mutations pop up, because we're adapting to our environment all the time, right? Mm-hmm. So if we want to keep ourselves adapting in the appropriate way, we have to change our environment, and that's part of what food is. It's part of our environment, and how we treat that and how we treat it with our food with our bodies is going to be really important, right? So
yeah. So we're changing our own lives, and if we have children, we're changing not only their lives but generations to come. And if we haven't had our children yet, we're changing our unborn children's lives and generations to come. It's actually quite an amazing thing to think about, how much change we can be affecting just by swallowing these capsules every day and taking better care of ourselves. And this is a stressful time. I feel like everybody's stress level and anxiety level is higher at the moment because of what's happening with this coronavirus. So I feel like, even more important time to take better care and to really pay attention to what we're eating and to supplement with Juice Plus.
Yeah, it's kind of feels like a reset. Like everyone's kind of like, going through life like robots, like I gotta go to work and nobody's paying attention to their health. It's kind of like, what a great way to like make everyone just stop.
Right.
I mean, it's not a great way, but it's definitely a way to
Yeah.
make people stop and go, wait, maybe I can do something to make sure that I'm healthy and improve the healthcare system. I don't know. So it's like, let's all just like take this moment where we can't go out if we don't want to go out, but we can take this quiet time to really reassess, and make changes.
We could truly change the face of our healthcare system just by
Absolutely.
making our own changes.
It starts with you. It always starts with you first, right? Every single time.
So we're
Yep.
encouraging people to take responsibility for their health and just
Yeah.
make these simple changes, and it can have profound effects. I think that's part of the disconnect, is people don't think something so simple can be so powerful and create
Right.
such change, and it can. And so, and we so appreciate you sort of validating for us and educating on how
Yeah.
that actually happens in the body. And you do a great job of explaining it. I love just the visual of the vagal nerve. To me, really helps understand that whole connection a lot better. So
Yeah. And you know what helps stimulate that? Singing and laughing and breathing deep belly breaths. So anytime you're in a state of joy and having fun, just remember you're stimulating your vagal nerve.
I love it. My favorite hashtag is choose joy. That is the motto of my life. So thank you for that too. That's great. That's awesome.
I love it.
Well, thank you so much, Heather. Thank you everyone for coming on tonight and joining us. We did record this call. So once I have the recording in a file that I can share, I will share it on our event page and pass it around to the team. And if any of this resonates with you and you have more questions and you'd like to know more about Juice Plus, just connect with the person who invited you and they can help answer those questions.
Yay.
So thank you, Heather, and thank you, everyone.
You guys.
And everybody, just stay healthy, take care of yourselves, get plenty of rest, laugh a lot, and take your Juice Plus.
Thank you, Heather.
Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Noel.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Noel.
Thank you. Have a great night, everyone.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.